Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating chapter all about the fundamental building blocks of our society. We're going to take a pretty incredible journey, starting from the most intimate unit we know, the family, and zooming all the way out to the massive, totally interdependent communities we live in today.
Here's our quick roadmap. We're starting small with the family unit and how family values are practiced, then we'll expand our circle to define what a community actually is, how communities step up for each other in tough times, and finally, wrap up with the complex modern societies we navigate every single day. Let's get right into it.
All right, part one, the family unit. This is literally the most ancient foundation of human society.
You know, families come in all shapes and sizes today. Take the traditional joint family, for example. Picture this, multiple generations, grandparents, parents, siblings, maybe even aunts and uncles, all living together under one single roof. It's a bustling hub of shared lives and responsibilities.
But then, in contrast to that big, multi-generational setup, we've got the nuclear family. This is a much smaller, tighter unit. It's usually just a couple and their kids, or sometimes a single parent and their children.
Now here's where it gets really fascinating. Did you know that language actually shows us how deep these cultural bonds go? Think about English. We use broad terms like uncle or cousin. But in many Indian languages, there are incredibly specific terms for every single relative. And honestly, the most interesting part, there frequently isn't even a direct word for cousin. Extended family members are simply called and treated like immediate brothers and sisters. It completely changes the dynamic, right? It emphasizes those deeply rooted bonds right from day one.
Moving into part two, family values in action. Let's look at dharma, duty, and cooperation.
There's this absolutely beautiful thought from the ancient philosopher Tiruvalluvar. He said, love and dharma are the flower and fruit of family life. It perfectly captures how the family is basically our first real school. It's where love grows, and a deep sense of duty, or dharma, is the tangible result.
So let's break down that word, dharma. It essentially means duty. The family is where we first pick up these massive core values. Things like ahimsa, which is nonviolence, dana, the act of giving, seva, meaning service, and tyaga, or sacrifice. In the real world, this means frequently putting your own immediate needs on hold just to make sure the whole family is taken care of.
To really picture this kind of sacrifice, or tyaga, look at this real-life story from Kerala. A young girl named Shalini was super excited to get a fancy silk dress for the Onam festival. But her uncle had just lost his job, meaning his kids couldn't afford festival clothes. So what did Shalini's parents do? They shared what they had and bought clothes for the uncle's whole family. Because the budget was stretched, Shalini happily settled for a simple cotton dress instead. And you know what? She didn't mind at all. Her sacrifice meant the whole extended family got to share in the joy of the festival. We see this exact same amazing teamwork in Tenzing's family over in Meghalaya. It's daily interdependence in action. When Tenzing's mom got busy working at a handicraft cooperative, his dad naturally just stepped up to share the cooking and chores. The grandmother acts as the family historian, passing down all this generational wisdom, and the grandfather, he's out there modeling seva, service, by doing neighborhood social work, like raising funds to fix a neighbor's roof after a storm. It's like this perfect mini ecosystem of support.
All right, that brings us to section 3, expanding the circle to really define the community.
Because families, as strong as they are, don't just exist in a vacuum, right? They connect to form communities. Especially in rural India, a community relies heavily on shared practices and unwritten rules. We're not talking about strict laws written in a book. We're talking about mutual agreements that guarantee everyone gets fair access to natural wealth. Things like water, forest produce, and grazing lands. Everyone pitches in, everyone has a duty, and that's what keeps the whole thing running smoothly.
Which leads right into section 4, communities supporting each other, especially showing compassion during a crisis.
So what happens when a community faces a massive challenge? Well, those values we learn at home, dharma, seva, tyaga, they scale up in a huge way. Take the Halma tradition among the Bil people. Halma is this incredible cultural practice where collective problem-solving isn't seen as a burden, it's literally treated as a sacred duty. When someone is in trouble, the community just rallies.
You can see the raw power of Halma in how the Bhil community handled a brutal water crisis in Jhabua. They didn't sit around waiting for outside help. No way. They used their Halma tradition and showed up, completely unpaid, to plant thousands of trees and dig rainwater conservation trenches across hundreds of villages. They saw this massive infrastructure project as their duty to serve Mother Earth.
It was such a transformational effort that Sri Mahesh Sharma, who helped mobilize the movement, actually won a Padma Shri Award for it. But hey, this community response isn't just a rural phenomenon. We see the exact same scale of compassion in big cities. Remember the devastating 2015 Chennai floods, when the roads literally turned into rushing rivers and all normal services just completely collapsed? Regular people stepped up. Private groups, spiritual organizations, and everyday citizens instantly mobilized to cook and hand out massive amounts of food to stranded people. They did it entirely out of a shared sense of duty.
And community isn't only about reacting to huge disasters. It's about everyday upliftment too. Take Kamal Parmar in Ahmedabad. He owns an auto fabrication shop and noticed kids on the street who weren't in school. He didn't just walk on by. After working all day, he set up an incredible street school, offering free tutoring and a hot dinner to 150 underprivileged kids right out there on the noisy pavement.
And the idea spread like wildfire. Local teachers and older students saw what he was doing and jumped in to volunteer. One volunteer said something that really hits the nail on the head. "We went there to teach, instead we learned a lot from them." It really proves that stepping up for your community is a two-way street. It deeply enriches the volunteers just as much as the kids they're helping.
All right, let's zoom out one last time for Section 5, Interdependent Modern Societies. So how does all this work in our super complex modern world? Well, think about living in a city. You've got residents' welfare associations, or RWAs, making local rules for things like trash pickup or pet ownership. But they aren't self-sufficient islands. They are totally interdependent. An RWA completely relies on outside groups, like trading communities for daily supplies and municipal workers to manage the waste they produce. It is a vital, interconnected chain. Ultimately, the word community is incredibly flexible nowadays. It's not just about geography anymore. A community could be a traditional subdivision or jati. It could be a religious or regional group, like the Parsis in Mumbai. It could be built around shared work, like a scientific community. Or honestly, on a super relatable level, it could just be your school's drama club or sports team. We all weave in and out of multiple communities every single day.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I've got a question for you. Think about your own life. From the family unit that taught you your first sense of duty, all the way up to the massive web of modern society, what communities are you woven into? And more importantly, taking a lesson from Shalini, Tenzing, and Kamal Parmar, how are you stepping up to support them? Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next explainer.